Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Thursday, July 11th. Took a little vacation day yesterday. A little bit of vacation day. It was a busy day. Busy night, work all day. Had a doubleheader for my 9U baseball. Last night there, it got crazy there. Got home, beat, just relaxed. Couldn't do it. Spent some time with the wife. Couldn't do it. Just relaxed. And that was the night. That was the night right there. As much as I wanted to jump on, I was cooked. I was done for the day. It's been hot. The weather in the state of Wisconsin has been brutally hot over these past couple days. Humidity has been up. It's been hot. I've caught myself saying, where's the rain? Where's the rain when you need it? Just give me a little drizzle. Give me a little drizzle here to cool me off. It's like, holy man. But, a fantastic day. It's going to be a warm one. Once again. But can't beat the sunshine. Especially after all those weeks on top of weeks of rain that we've had there. But with that, lots going on in the world of sports. Lots going on going to the world of sports. We got to talk about it all day. I got a little bit of everything I want to get into today here. And right away, I want to look at, I saw yesterday on social media, scrolling through, I saw a wins in the college football playoff era. And I was interested. I was like, okay, what team would have the most wins in the college football playoff era? Right away, your mind jumps to, okay, I'm going to guess Alabama, right? You got Alabama, Georgia's in there. You'd be thinking probably Ohio State. Clemson's had some really good years. We're talking an Alabama-Clemson national championship years on end. So, they had to be up there. So, I expect you click expand or see more or whatever, and they're going to give you the list and everything like that. So, I got the list, and the big thing that intrigued me was seeing where the Badgers ranked, right? Because the Badgers, they've had some pretty good records during the college football playoff era. Never good enough, right, to get into the college football playoff, but, good enough to be in conversations and everything like that. So I looked down the list, excuse me there, and in the number 8 spot, I found the Wisconsin Badgers. 90 wins in the college football playoff era. In comparison, you look at Alabama, 127. You look at Clemson, 119. Ohio State, 115. Georgia, 114. Oklahoma, 102. 95 and 95 for Notre Dame and Michigan. And then the Badgers with 90. Tied with Oregon and LSU. Now, the thing that bites the most is that you're tied with two teams that have been to the college football playoff, right? They've been to, the big stage, the Final Four teams as it was. Now it's expanded, right? They've been to that Final Four team. So that's what sucked about it, because the Badgers, they've had some pretty good years. Some 13-win seasons, some 12-win seasons mixed in there, 11-win seasons, right? They've had some pretty good years mixed in there underneath the Paul Chryst there. And some pretty good running backs, pretty good offensive lines. Never really had the quarterback, I would say, to take them over the edge. They've had some talent in the wide receiver room. Over the years. I'm not talking like Alabama talent in the wide receiver room. I'm not talking Clemson or, LSU, but some solid receivers, right? You could say like Danny Davis was decent. Quintez Cephas had a breakout year for the Badgers. Some decent guys over the years that the Badgers have had. And some, pretty stout defenses. You're talking about, you had Beagle and TJ Watt and Borland was in there. Loudermilk. The list goes on. TJ Edwards, right? The list goes on of great, slip my names there. Zach Bond was in there. He was great. Leo Chanel was fantastic for the Badgers. So, they've had some pretty good defenses. They've had some decent wide receiver rooms, some quarterbacks over the years, right? Graham Mertz was supposed to be the next thing. He turned out to be a bust. He was like our Johnny Manziel going to the NFL, right? That was our Graham Mertz there. Running backs, you're talking Melvin Gordon. You're talking James White. You're talking, Corey Clement. Monte Ball, Jonathan Taylor, pretty good. Braylon Allen now, right? Braylon Allen's in there. They've had, very good talent. And, I mean, you're talking offensive line. You could go through that for days. The offensive lineman the Badgers have had. So, I mean, it sucks to see the Badgers with that many wins, being up there near the top of wins in college football playoff era and not able to ever get into that Final Four. That's the crappy part, but you get it at the end of the. I mean, you get it, but you don't, right? You wanted to see them get in there. You look at the teams above them: Michigan and Ohio State. There, Penn State's right below them with 88 wins, and Iowa is actually right below them there with 88 wins. So it really screams that Big Ten West was just never as good as the Big Ten East. That's just, I mean, how it was, right? That's how it was. Hopefully that changes, right? I mean, you got the new regime of coaches. You got Tressel, you got Luke Fickell, you have Phil Longo. They've been in there for a little bit. They've got their guys now, right? We talked about it, last season there a little bit, and Luke Fickell needed his guys, right? He needs his guys. Okay, now we got, Luke Fickell's guys. Now we hope that we see the next step. Phil Longo's guys, right? Guys that are going to work better in the air raid offense. They added more quarterbacks. That's what they love to do, right? I mean, that guy out of Miami there, Tyler Van Dyke, brought him in out of Miami, a guy who has played in kind of a air raid offense. So it's going to be interesting to see where this Badger team leads now under this regime. If we see a change, the Badgers maybe find their way in, especially like I was saying with that expanded playoff now, maybe we see the Badgers find their way in to that expanded playoff. Because, I mean, realistically, you think Big Ten, with all these teams coming in and the conferences kind of getting bigger, realistically, I think you're going to get 2 teams out of the Big Ten at least, right? You might get 3. You might get 3 Big Ten teams that find their way into the college football playoff. It's going to be, how does it shake out, right? If Ohio State's at the top, they beat Oregon. Oregon beats somebody else, and then Ohio State loses somebody else. That kind of mess that could happen with all one-loss teams where it could lead to issues. And then, I mean, you look at other conferences like the SEC. Okay, let's say they have 2-loss teams hanging around there because the SEC beats each other up, right? Now you take the champion, but then what happens after that? So it's definitely going to be one of those things where we could see, I mean, 1, 2, 3 teams get in out of a conference, and that's just going to be the new norm. That's going to be it's probably going to tick off a lot of people. And then we'll say, right now we expanded the playoff, let's expand it again. And then let's expand it again, right? It's like college basketball. We talked about that once already with expanding the field. They want to go from 68 teams up to 72 teams. Why? Because, well, the 69th team got upset, right? They got upset because, well, why did we get left out? We're better than this team. We're better than so-and-so. Why'd we get left out? Why are we in the first 4 out? Doesn't make sense. Well, now you let those 4 teams in. Now we have the next 4 that are going to complain, and the next 4, and the next 4. It's always a revolving door of teams that are going to complain, right? It's always a revolving door of fans, commissioners, whatever, ADs, everything like that are going to complain. It's just going to be how far will they push that button, right? How far will they push it? Because now the farther you expand it, either the deeper your season goes or the earlier it's got to start, right? Because right now, you essentially have like a month off between the end of the regular season and the kickoff of these bowl games. So, I mean, you have that month to play with there that you could put some of these games at. It's just how far can you realistically go, right? You can play more basketball games in a week than you can play football. I mean, that's just what we know. I mean, baseball, same thing. You play more baseball games in a week than you can play football. Football's once a week. Once a week is what you have to game plan for. And so, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if this works, if they try to expand again, if they try to get more teams in. And then we'll see. We'll see what kind of domino effect it has, and if more teams get ticked off, if they try to shorten seasons, if they try to, make the season longer, whatever they try to do there. It's definitely going to be something to pay attention to there with the college football playoff. But just something I saw, just a little tidbit I saw to tip off the show there. In Badger news, though, Badger basketball news, they are bringing back Greg Stiemsma. You know what? Names kick my butt. Greg Stiemsma. That's terrible. That was a bad pronunciation right there. He has been named the director of player development for the University of Wisconsin's men's basketball staff. And they announced that this last Wednesday there. He actually was a player at Wisconsin from 2004 to 2008 there. He went on to play professional basketball in the NBA and internationally, transferred to player development roles in the NBA with the Timberwolves, and then he was with the Spurs. He was actually there with Victor Wembanyama. So coming back to the Badgers there, he's, going to help. You have your ever-changing, like Greg Gard said there. He said, having him in this position is another step to meet the ever-changing needs of our program and make sure that we stay at the forefront in the new age of college athletics. He's a guy who knows how to work with, in the money game. He understands it. He understands what players need, what players, what they need to develop in the system, everything like that. So I think it's, like he said, it's going to be a great thing. Like he says there, brings multiple years of professional experience in a variety of roles to our staff. He will be a tremendous asset to our team, having worked in depth with some of the NBA's best players and coaches centered specifically around player development. As a former NBA player himself, he also knows firsthand what it takes to be an athlete to reach the pro level and then ultimately succeed. As a player at Wisconsin, competed at championship level with traits and qualities that are of value in our program. Basically, he's coming in. He's going to be able to help these guys develop, and he knows what they need to do to advance, to get to where they need to be, right? To even be in a conversation like that. And, some of these guys that come into Madison will never be in that conversation to be an NBA player. Maybe to play internationally, right? But that's a stepping stone. And this is a guy who can step in and he can help them achieve that goal. So it's a great hire. It's a great hire for the Badgers, bringing in somebody who is, been in the program, has left the program, has been in the league, helped out with the Spurs. So he's been there with Greg Popovich. He's worked with Victor Wembanyama, like I said there, and, helped some of these younger players already in the league. So he sees development of younger players and has worked with some younger players in development. Now coming to the Badgers, going to be able to do the same thing. Going to be able to do the same thing for Wisconsin there. And maybe this is a guy that, he's worked with some of these NBA athletes already. Maybe that's a guy that some of these players out there, recruits or even transfers, they see him and they say, that's a guy that we want to get in there. We want him to help us. We want him to work with us. So I definitely think this is a great add for Greg Gard to add him into that coaching staff. Great stuff out of Greg Gard and the Wisconsin men's basketball team. Yeah, that name kicks my butt. Stiemsma. I don't even know. It's going to kick my butt for the rest of the day. I'm sorry for the bad pronunciation of his name there. But with that, I want to get some Bucks. A little bit of Bucks talk here to top off the basketball talk for the day here. And the big thing that I saw all over social media, a hot topic for a lot of people, was should Giannis play in the Olympics, right? You would think, why? Why would he not play in the Olympics? That doesn't even make sense. Why would he not? A lot of people feel like he should focus on getting ready for next season. He should rest up. He should, get his body underneath him and avoid hurting himself playing in the Olympics for Greece. How do I feel about that? First off, Giannis he's got the privilege to carry his country's flag for the opening ceremony. He was chosen to don the flag, right? And I'll be honest with you, I'm not from Greece. I'm from the USA. But if they asked me to carry the flag for the open, that'd be one of the coolest things, one of the greatest things ever, right? You're representing your country in that moment, carrying that flag. And so first off, you have that, right? Secondly, Giannis has tried to make it into the Olympics before, and Greece has fallen short. He has not been to the Olympics yet. So for him to help his team, help Greece get into the Olympics, this is a first for him. You look at his tweet after they had lost years ago there. And he said, what time does USA play, right? I want to watch USA. I want to support these guys. that's great and all, but Giannis wants to play. He wants to play. So for him to have the chance to put it on the world stage, right? I mean, when you're playing in the NBA, you're basically on the world stage already, right? But playing in the Olympics, that is the world stage, right? You have a chance to win a gold medal. There's some pretty good teams. Canada's pretty good. France is decent, right? Germany, right? They're decent. They got a decent team over there. I wonder, Jokic. What do you want to play? What do you want to play for? His country. I don't know about that one. He might want to just watch his horses and just kick back. But that's just me. That's just me on that. Well, probably Jokic is saying that too. But I'm gonna be on this side of it. Giannis is gonna be Giannis. Giannis is a gamer. He wants to play. I don't. People are trying to say that Giannis just sat out of those first round playoff games. I don't believe that for a second. Giannis is a gamer. Giannis wants to be out there. He wants to play. He wants nothing more than to win. So to ask him to not play, I feel like that would cause some turmoil between him and the Bucks. I'll be honest with you. You just let Giannis do Giannis, right? You can maybe suggest it. You can maybe walk in the room and say, "Hey, just you just want to put this out there. Hey, we want you to be ready to go next season. We want you to be ready to go game one. We want you to be able to play a full season. We want you to be able to play in the playoffs, right? Because if you play in the playoffs, we have a different team when you're playing. So just, keep that in mind." If he looks at that and he says to himself, maybe they're right. Maybe I should dial it back, maybe play less minutes, whatever it is. Okay. But I don't think anybody wants to tell him not to play. I don't think anybody wants that. Kawhi Leonard, on the other hand, for Team USA, he ain't playing. Clippers told him to get ready for the season. You should go out there and play. That's what his agent's telling him. So he's like, okay, I'm not going to play. So now Derek White is taking the spot of Kawhi Leonard on Team USA. If I have ever seen the biggest shaft to any player that I have ever seen, it's to Jaylen Brown right now. Jaylen Brown just came off a finals MVP. He's got a finals MVP. Helped the Celtics win the finals and won the MVP award out of it over Jason Tatum, who's already on the team. And I don't believe they asked him because looking at his Twitter, I think it was on Twitter, he kind of put out a kind of a cryptic message about it there. But, to put Derek White in there above Jaylen Brown, you already got Drew. You have Drew, you have Tatum, and now you ask Derek White. But you don't take Jaylen Brown, the guy who won the MVP. The guy who might have been, the best player on the Celtics team this year. Jason Tatum played very well. I'm not going to say that Jason Tatum wasn't great. But Jaylen Brown played very good. Very good. Excellent at times. That's why, he won the finals MVP. That's why. Right? So for him not to get the call, that's a shaft. That's a shaft right there. That's one ticked off dude, right? I'd be ticked off. If they called me and I told them no, different story, right? Completely different story. We'd be talking about this in a completely different light. But I don't believe that they called him. I don't believe that they asked him. I believe they shot for Derek White. And Jaylen Brown was just an afterthought. That's surprising. That is definitely surprising. You could, and I was talking to a good buddy of mine off the Chomping to the Bit podcast there, Kyle Edwards. And he was talking about it too. And he said, you could even say that guys like LeBron and KD don't even have to be there, don't need to be on that team. I could see that. I could definitely see that. To say that LeBron or KD had better years last year than Jaylen Brown, I don't see it, right? Yes, it wouldn't be. You're going to have LeBron in there, right? And KD is KD. You're going to have KD in there. But, if you look stat to stat, Jaylen Brown should be on this team somewhere. He should be on this team somewhere. That would have been one of the first picks, stat-wise, to jump in there. So definitely interesting development on that side of it. Interesting to development on that side of it there. But I mean, with that, just looking little bit more about the Bucks. A little bit more about the Bucks. I see a lot of people talking about trading or getting rid of Chris Middleton. I got to be honest with you. I'm not all in on, I've seen a lot of people's reasonings, and I can see why, right? He's injury prone. He seems to be constantly injured. Why are we wasting our time with this guy? He's got this big contract. Well, first off, I don't know what the trade package would even look like if you wanted to trade a guy like Middleton. And, okay, let's just say you trade for Andrew Wiggins, right? I don't want Andrew Wiggins. I really don't. But let's just say you get Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins has had injury problems. Andrew Wiggins has had scoring problems. So what tells you that we get Andrew Wiggins in and it just completely fixes everything, right? That's just going to fix it. I don't think so. I truthfully don't think. I mean, you look at Chris Middleton last season there. He started in 55 games, played 55 games out of the 82. Right? You look at Giannis, Dame, both played 73. 55 for Chris. 15 points a game. He averaged 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 0.9 steals. Nothing terrible on that side of it. Would I look at trading him if the package was unreal? If somebody called, right? If somebody called the Milwaukee Bucks and they said, "Hey, we would offer you so and so, so and so, and so and so," right? Or something crazy, right? You gotta make the equivalent of his contract, right? So something crazy. Maybe you get a big man, right? A great big man, right? I can't imagine a team out there trading away a great big man, right? But maybe you do. Or maybe you get an athletic young big who could be a prospect. Do you think about it then, right? I've always been a fan of Golden State's Trage Jackson-Davis from Indiana. He's not an oversized big. He's not a 7-footer, right? But he's about 6'10". Athletic, long, gets after you, good rebounder. The tenacity is huge on him. If you could get Trage Jackson-Davis, and I'm just not sold on Andrew Wiggins. I don't know what it is. It's something with Andrew Wiggins that just worries me if you grab him. Just looking at his stats from last season there, 13 points a game. He played in 71 games there. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the Wiggins deal. Maybe I could not trade Middleton for Wiggins. I couldn't, even if he threw in Trage Jackson-Davis. That is a big contract that Wiggins has too. So you'd have to maneuver around money there. You'd have to add to the deal, maybe a 3-team deal, whatever it is. I'm not a fan of the Chris Middleton trade. Let's just go with that. Not a fan of it. I think Chris, if he can play, if he stays healthy, Chris Middleton is a prolific scorer, a very good scorer. And he's clutch. He's clutch. You look at that. You look at 2020, 2021. He played in 68 games in 2020. 2021, he played in 66 games. And in 2022, that was his injury year. So that was the issue there. 2023, 55 games there. He hasn't had I'm going to be out there every day season in a while. He hasn't had that. So the injury factor, yes, I could see that. But when he's out there, this guy could score. This guy can score for you. Maybe, how do you work it elsewise to try and avoid injury with him? I don't know. On that. I don't foresee the Bucks trying to move Chris Middleton. I don't even know, truthfully, if they'll move Brook Lopez. They're asking for a first-round pick. I could see teams looking at Brook, wanting Brook. He's still a good scorer. He can still score the basketball. He's not an inside threat, but he's a good shooter, right? He can shoot the basketball. So, I can see teams reaching or trying to grab Brook there. I just don't. I don't foresee. I don't foresee Chris Middleton getting moved, and I wouldn't move him. there. So that's where I stand. Chris Middleton moving right now. I mean, this guy, he can shoot. We know he can shoot. We know he can be a late game. He can be a late game ruiner for opposite teams, right? Trying to think of a good word for that. He's clutch. He can be clutch. And with Dame and Chris, late game, you have two guys that can clutch it up. We saw that last year. We've seen it with Chris through the years. He's a great mid-range guy. And Dame, we know Dame, it's Dame time, right? We're hoping for Dame time last year. We never got it. This season, I mean, you go into the offseason with a full offseason. I think that's going to benefit them a lot. Getting those three together, getting Chris to find his role with Giannis and with Dame, I think that's the biggest thing. So I truthfully, I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on to Chris Middleton and riding this baby out. Riding this baby out. Seeing how it all goes this next season. You got Darvin Ham back on the coaching staff. You got Doc in a full season now. You got Giannis and Dame working together in the offseason. Dame with a full offseason, right? And you got Middleton working with them. With the offseason ads the Bucks have had, Taurean Prince and Deleon Wright, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing on the Bucks, and I want them to run it back. I want them to run it back, and I want to see what comes of it. If you can find an athletic big, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would not be opposed to adding an athletic big behind Brooke, Bobby, and a third. You want a third piece there. You want a third piece, just in case. Just in case. Brooke Lopez hurts himself or Bobby Portis hurts himself, right? You have that option of a secondary guy back there. So I'd be good with that. Outside of that, I'm keeping Chris Middleton there. So with that, I want to get to some sponsors of the show here quick. I got to get some sponsors before we move on here. First, Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Onalaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently, whether you were playing with the kids, mowing the lawn, maybe you were playing in rec league softball and you felt something that shouldn't have sounded like that. It shouldn't have felt like that when you moved. And now you're a hurting pile of mess, right? You're just a hurting pile right now. And you think, maybe I got to get checked out, right? Maybe I got to get checked out by a physical therapist here. Stop in there and see Chad at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. He'll get you right. He'll get you back to work, back out playing with the kids, back on the softball field, feeling better than ever, and maybe hitting a few home runs, whatever it is there. Maybe hitting a few home runs out there. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. Sports Scene, sports cards, and memorabilia located in the Marshfield Mall in Marshfield, Wisconsin. You got to get down there and see Al. He has everything you need from sports cards to memorabilia, jerseys, model stock cars. He's got it all. Sports Scene in Marshfield. Marshfield Motor Speedway is located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. You got to get down there this summer. Tons of family fun for all ages. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. Nothing better than a great summer day or night down there at the track. So Marshfield Motor Speedway's there in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville, Wisconsin. And also your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield, Wisconsin there. But with that, I want to look at some Brewers. I want to get into a little bit of baseball talk. We got to get into a little bit of baseball talk there. Right away, I want to look at some prospects that have been mashing as of late here. Yadier Arminio had 3 more doubles here 2 nights ago. And since June 1st, he actually ranks in the 95th percentile or better among high A hitters in on-base percentage. He's batting .439 on-base percentage, slugging .588, OPS over 1,000 there at 1.028, and his K rate is at 11%. So great stuff there out of Yadier Arminio. Looking at Jacob Mizorowski, he had a season-high 10 strikeouts down there. 6 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So great stuff out of Jacob Mizorowski, very good prospect, a flame-throwing prospect for the Brewers down there. Brian Fitzpatrick on July 4th, he had 7 Ks and 1 walk. He had allowed 10 earned runs in his last 33 innings, holding opponents to a .605 OPS. So great stuff there out of Brian Fitzpatrick. And Bradley Blake, we've seen him a little bit up at the big league level, but pitching down there for the Shuckers, he actually had his best start of the year there and had a Southern League Pitcher of the Week award given to him. 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 5 strikeouts for Bradley Blake there. So great stuff that we're seeing out of him. And also Juan Ortuño is mashing down there right now in the Arizona League. He's actually holding the 6th best on-base percentage in the league at .526. He's got 1,034 OPS, and he's in the 91st percentile in contact rate right now at 84%. Also, Cooper Pratt has entered the top 100 prospects in the MLB pipeline right now there. So great stuff that we're seeing out of Cooper Pratt right now. He is in that top 100 prospect list. Great stuff out of the Brewers minor league system right now. But that leads us to some Brew Crew talk. Brewers, they picked up a big win. They got completely manhandled a couple nights ago there. And last night, they got a big bounce-back win. Something that we wanted, needed, we desperately needed out of the Brewers was a shutout, big win, a little bit of an answer, right? Because 12-2 night before, not great. Not great stuff. Last night, though, 9-0. The Brewers took that win. And, well, Tobias Myers continues to impress. He continues to impress. 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Tobias Myers there. He moves to 6-3 on the season there, moves that ERA down to 3.13. I love it. I love what I'm seeing out of Tobias Myers. Not the guy I expected to almost anchor this pitching staff, right? He seems to be the most steady hand, and knock on some wood there, right? He seems to be the most steady hand in the Brewers starting rotation right now, and they desperately needed that. They needed somebody. I did not expect it to be Tobias Myers, especially seeing his first couple starts with the Brewers. I didn't give up on him, right? I didn't give up on him. But seeing those first couple starts out of Tobias Myers there definitely had me concerned that maybe we weren't going to get to see, Tobias Myers kind of come to form. And he's slowly turning into a dominant. What a rookie season. That's all I'm going to say. What a rookie season for this guy. I mean, hopefully he continues this trend because I wish this was the matchup that we got in tomorrow's game because Paul Skeens is pitching for the Pirates. Now, we weren't going to see the same flamethrowing stuff and some of the same stuff that Paul Skeens has, but Tobias Myers ran it up there at 96 tonight, I believe, 96, 97, somewhere in there. I thought it was 96. His best fastball was. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And, I mean, watching him throw the slider last night there, he was confident. I mean, right now, Tobias Myers, his confidence is through the roof. He threw, I recall, a 2-0 count. He came back with a slider, right? That, I mean, to have that much confidence that you're going to land your slider 2-0, not hang it, not drop it in the dirt, you're going to put it right there, bottom of the zone where you want it. That was awesome. That tells me that Tobias Myers is feeling it. He's feeling his pitches right now. And, I mean, like we all know, with the defense that he has behind him right now, you don't have to worry too much, right? You don't have to worry. These guys are going to make the plays. Rhys Hoskins played fantastic defense last night. I mean, we talked about Rhys, and I talked about Rhys, how he makes me nervous playing at first base at times with his defense. He made a couple of nice plays. Started that double play there for Tobias Myers in the 7th that prevented a run, and then he had another great play earlier on. I mean, Rhys Hoskins played very good defensively at first base last night. Tobias Myers, like I said, he's been pitching fantastic. I mean, you look at him over in the month of June. Let's just look at the month of June here. He had 31 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs in total there, 24 strikeouts. Love it. Love it. There ain't nothing about that screams to me that this guy is struggling. I mean, look at him against Detroit, 8 innings, 6 innings against Toronto, 6 and a third against the Angels, against the Padres. He gave up 1 earned run, went 5 innings against the Cubs, 6 innings. Great stuff across the board. He gave up those 3 runs against the Cubs, but I thought the best thing I saw out of Tobias Myers in that Cubs game was the poise that he had, because the stuff wasn't there. It wasn't there. It wasn't working like it was supposed to. But he found a way. He found a way to battle. That was what I loved most about that, especially in a young pitcher, is the ability to battle. Because then you look in his last couple starts here in the month of July against Colorado and then against the Pirates there, 14 innings combined between the 2 games there, 4 earned runs. He gave up those 4 against the Rockies there. But, I mean, look at the average, 235. 235 guys are hitting against him. You look at the average there for the month of June, 185 guys were hitting against him there in the month of June. You look just a month earlier, right? In the month of May, guys were hitting 299 against Tobias Myers. Just the difference that we've seen of him slowly progressing into being this dominant, I can trust this guy to give me 6 innings of pretty good baseball, right? You look at these 8 innings against the Pirates there, dominant baseball, but even game before that, gutsy pitching. Keeping the Brewers in games. I love what I'm seeing out of Tobias Myers. So a great game out of Tobias Myers there. We saw Adames. Adames had a good game, 3 for 5, something that, we have been waiting to see for a while now. We have been waiting to see Adames come out of his slump. He's been in this slump, this funk. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I don't, is his swing broken? What is it? You look at him over the last 7 games, 259. Over the last 15, he's batting 211. Over the last 30, 231. Nothing great, right? If you look at the average, nothing great. But if you look at Willy Adames, compared to shortstops, we can look NL shortstops, we can look all of baseball. Let's look NL shortstops here. Comparison NL shortstops right now, he is 8th in batting average. But if we look at home runs, 5th in home runs right now. He's got 13. Francisco Lindor's got 16 up at the top of the list there. We look at RBIs, though. Willy Adames leads all shortstops in RBIs, 52 RBIs on the season there. Walks, not bad. He's 3rd in the league for shortstops in walks right now. 1 behind Kim and Mookie Betts there of the Dodgers and the Padres. Strikeouts, Willie's 5th. Not terrible. Not terrible spot. Slugging percentage, he's currently 7th. On base percentage, he's 6th right now. OPS, he's sitting in 8th. And his WAR, his wins above replacement, he is 10th. 10th in WAR right now. Now, if you don't know, basically WAR just measures the player's value in all facets of the game by deciphering how many more wins he's worth than a replacement level player at his same position. So if you think like a minor league replacement or a readily available fill-in free agent. So what Willy Adames is basically worth over somebody else in that same spot on the same team, right? And looking at that, Willie's WAR is at 1.7. right now. Not terrible. You look at Mookie Betts, he's 3.9, which is good, right? But 1.7, not terrible. Not terrible there. So, I look at the RBIs. I gotta be honest with you. I look at the RBIs. If Willie can give me 100 RBIs on the season, looking at him right now, what I say was that he's at 52? 62? Sorry, my mistake there. 62. I read it wrong. I said 50. He's at 62. If Willie can keep on pace and give me plus 100 RBIs on the season, and he gives me a 240 to 250 average with 20 plus home runs, was it a bad season? Average-wise, yeah, 100% average-wise. But production, could you say that that's bad? Maybe. You could argue it. Right? You could argue it. But to lead shortstops, all shortstops and RBIs, that's a different story. That's a different story right there. Look at league leaders in RBIs. Marcell Ozuna leads the league with 73. He's in 1st. Willy Adames is in 5th in all of the National League in RBIs, right? there's a lot of teams out there that want RBI guys. Willie Adames' name is still going to be a semi-hot commodity if the Brewers put him on the market, which I don't know if the Brewers will, but if they did. So, I mean, just my thoughts there. Just my thoughts on Willie Adames right now. You guys out there, you decide. Would you look to trade Willie Adames? Would you look to keep Willie Adames? He's a clubhouse guy. I get that. The average isn't great. You have guys that can fill in, but do you have fill-in guys after that? So you got to look at where does this affect this, and will it cause problems, right? Will it cause the Josh Hader effect one more time? I guess that's what you got to look at. I guess that's what you got to look at there. Outside of that, last night's game, we saw Hoskins go deep. I want to see Hoskins get hot. So far, haven't seen it, but, I mean, Hoskins is a streaky hitter. Talk to Philly fans. He's a streaky hitter. So, hopefully he gets on a streak and starts whacking some balls because we need some Rhys Hoskins to get going here. Outside of that, we saw Frelick go 3 for 4. Good night for Frelick. Perkins 0 for 3. Monasterio 2 for 3. Good night out of him there. Terang 1 for 4 there. He had a run scored. So, I mean, the Brewers last night, 14 hits in total, 6 strikeouts. I thought that was great. Not a lot of strikeouts for the Brewers. There's 6 walks, 9 RBIs. Good stuff. Good stuff across the board. 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Left 10 guys on base. So a lot of guys left on yet, though. We could have put up like a 20 spot. I mean, come on. We could have put up 20. It's all good. All good. Brewers, 14 hits compared to the 4 for the Pirates last night. 9-0 win. I'll take it all day long. So that sets up the rubber match coming up today here. Paul Skeens, Aaron Civale. The recent acquired pitcher by the Brewers, Civale, will be taking on Paul Skeens. And, well, I'll tell you what. Either the Brewers are going to torch Skeens or it might be a long day, right? We'll see. We'll see, right? I'm talking. I want to see him torch him. I want him to get introduced to Christian Yelich, right? I want him to hit a bomb, just a bomb to start off. Lead, in that third spot today's game here. I want to see Terang, whoever's batting leadoff, get on. Maybe Contreras gets on. 2 guys on. Yelich whacks a tank. It's 3-0. Welcome to the NL Central, right? This is going to be a game where the Brewers, truthfully, I really do think they can make a statement, right? The way that Paul Skeens has been pitching this year, this could be a statement game for this offense because if you find ways to produce runs against this guy, it might boost the confidence. I really do think it could boost the confidence over the top. So this could be a big game for the Brewers' morale here against Paul Skeens because they've seen Paul Skeens. They've seen him, they've seen highlights. They've seen this guy a little bit here and there. I want to see him get lit up. I want to see the Brewers light him up. That is for sure. I can't wait to watch him pitch, though. I've heard so many good things. I can't wait to watch him pitch. I'm going to be honest with you. He's the next big thing, so I can't wait to watch him pitch. I just want to watch the Brewers light him up at the same time. So with that, good talk there. Good talk. Brewers coming up today against the Pirates. 1:10 start for that game there. But we're just talking about Yelich hitting a bomb off of Skeens there. And I saw, a little bit of a chart comparing Christian Yelich from this season to Christian Yelich from the 2018 season, which was his MVP season, his first half stats, right? So in the first half of 2018, he hit .293. He had an on-base percentage of .364. He had an OPS of .823. He had 11 home runs, 43 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, and 60 runs scored. Now, that was in essentially a full first half of the season, right? Playing in essentially every game. Now we look at his first half stats from 2024, where he missed a month due to injury, right? He missed a month. 329 average. On-base percentage sitting at .407. OPS 940. 11 home runs. 41 RBIs and 19 stolen bases. 42 runs scored. That's eerily similar except for that batting average is way north. If you look at the batting average, actually, as of last night's game, he bumped it up to 335. So let's just put that in perspective. He now leads all of baseball. He finally got enough at-bats and games played in there that he qualifies for the rankings now. And ranking, he is higher than Shohei Ohtani, who has a 317 average, 335. 335. That's ahead of the guy who basically essentially took our boy Bryce Durang's spot in the All-Star game, Luis Arias, because he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oh, wait, Christian Yelich got a higher batting average. That's all that he has. That irritates me. You guys know it irritates me. The only thing Arias has better than than Bryce Durang is a batting average. Is a stinking batting average. It's not even that great, right? Bryce Durang's hitting 284, right? He's not even that far behind. Whatever. We could complain about it all day long and ain't gonna do nothing. Bryce Durang's just gonna help the Brewers win a World Series, right? That's all we can say there, though. So with that, that's about all I got for today. That's about all I got. Lots of good talk. Bucks talk, Brewer talk, everything in between. Brewers, they first pitch today will be set for 1:10 for that one on Bally Sports, Wisconsin. Otherwise, on the radio, that's where I'll be listening at work. WTMJ 620. Maybe see Euchre. Maybe Euchre will be on the mic tomorrow. He wasn't on last night, I heard, but he was on the night before. So maybe we'll see Euchre on the mic here for this game. I did see he met Skeens. Skeens wanted to meet Bob Euchre. So Euchre went down there and he met with him. And I mean, I can only imagine Euchre told him that he would have probably hit him like 400 feet, right? Euchre was probably giving him crap that he would have launched one off. Something like that, right? Something like that. Euchre hit all the good pitchers. I mean, he hit the good pitchers. He did. He had, his career home runs came against some very good pitchers. So, I mean, maybe Euchre could have hit a bottom off ball Skeens. We'll never know. But with that, like I always tell you guys, please, if you can, leave a comment, leave a review. Let me know what you would like to hear about more on the show. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to answer on the show, I definitely love for you guys to leave a review, a comment, leave a rating on the show there. Also, in the bio, there's a send us a message. In the bio there, it'll say send us a message. You can actually click that link. You can type in your message there and send it directly to me. And then I'll be able to, if you have a comment or anything like that, I can definitely read it on the show there, give you a shout out, let people know that it was your question or your reply to anything I said today on the show here. That is your reply to it. So I'd love for you guys to do that out there. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. But until I talk to you guys again tomorrow, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river, I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river. Oh, bury me, carry me up.